Hi guys, from next month Britain will start implementing another aspect of Brexit. More paperwork and checks which will add cost and inconvenience not so much to UK companies but to those in the European single market. In the same way that UK exporters had to begin completing reams of documents and paying for expensive veterinary health certificates, this will now be applied to those businesses in the EU that want to sell to Great Britain. As with other aspects of Brexit, it's been staggered, but it will result in higher costs and less availability. Sky News spoke to one sector on the continent.
Then it's coming to us. We check it now again.
And now someone comes to check it
goes
in
in the truck. We have to check it again. And then in the UK, we check it again. But it's making an awful lot of costs. And somebody has to pay the bill at the end of the day. So I'm 100% sure that the last customer, the British consumer, has to pay for this.
From January the 31st, animal and plant products from the EU considered at medium risk of carrying pests or disease, including sunflowers, milk, cheese and chilled or frozen meat and fish, will need a health certificate. From April the 30th, physical checks will be required on the same goods at the UK border. Among the species now considered a risk to Britain's biosecurity, these orchids, planted before the Brexit vote and painstakingly raised to peak next month. These orchids are ready to be harvested for Valentine's Day, but by the time they get to the UK, for the first time in decades, they will face border controls first, paperwork, in due course, physical inspection. Now, these measures have already been delayed 5 times, but now they're here. They're a whole new level of bureaucracy and cost. Hours after they're cut, the Dutch flowers are in New Covent Garden Market in London, where reliable, fast supply is crucial. Wholesalers like Freddie think the new checks will add 20% to the price of his daily deliveries, but customs delays could be ruinous.
We have orders coming in and going out in the early hours of the mornings, very fast turnaround, reloading vehicles, redistributing orders. If we experience a 4-hour delay, that's going to dramatically change our business model. It only takes a small mistake for it to have a potentially catastrophic effect, particularly in the lead up to Valentine's.
This is what you'll not have anymore.
The British food industry thinks the changes stink too. La Fromagerie has been importing cheese from across Europe for more than 40 years. Now a vet certificate will be required for every shipment from every supplier, which means some may stop altogether.
We deal with, 1 or 2 guys in a dairy with 50 sheep. Do they want to be paying for this new certificate to send to us? I assure you that most of them will say no.
Government says the rules are crucial to preserve British biosecurity, but with common fruit and vegetables likely to be added to the checklist, they're an unpalatable price of Brexit for many.
Exactly, an unpalatable price of Brexit for many, which will result, as we've seen the other way, when the checks were carried out on the European side, that many small businesses will not be able to function. They will not be able to continue to sell into the respective market. We saw it with cheese companies, we saw it with smaller production. The big companies will be able to throw money at the problem, but the smaller companies will decide, well, it's not actually feasible for us to do this. We saw it before on the UK side, we're going to see it on the European side. Now, for the smaller European producers, there's a whole other market that they can take advantage of. This isn't the case for the UK. So we've seen some small UK producers close down or try to continue to sell to the UK market and struggle. The European producers can sell to other countries in Europe. But on the UK side, this is going to result in higher cost and less availability. Because as was pointed out here, the smaller companies, if they're not able to sell into the UK, if there are delays at the port, and there will no doubt be delays at the port, because some of the small producers in the European Union have never exported outside the European Union before. So they're not familiar with the paperwork, they're not familiar with the procedures, and there will be mistakes made. And remember, health certificates go with each consignment, but on a truck there could be a dozen consignments or even more than that. And if one document is wrong, it blocks the entire truck. So you could see produce sitting on a truck for hours, for days on end. And if it's perishable goods, they're going to rot and they'll have to be sent back to the original producer, and that's a cost that they may be able to absorb the first time or maybe the second time, but if this continues, it's going to be rejected and they will decide when it's not worth our while. Now, none of this was actually necessary. If the UK had remained within the single market, if the UK had stayed within the European Union, none of this would have been a story. None of this would have been happening. The way out of this, of course, is to rejoin the European Union, rejoin the single market to bring down these barriers. Let me know in the comment section, guys, what you think. As always, your comments are greatly appreciated. Thanks a lot.